Kegs are loved by the community due to how fantastic they are as moneymakers, allowing you to just shove any old fruit or vegetable, most likely a star fruit if you know what you're doing, in them and leaving them for about a week and making tons of money. Combining the wine it creates along with the artisan profession makes for an amazing combination, easily letting you earn millions. And with a fairly cheap crafting recipe, it's no wonder why they're so loved. Kegs are simply one of the best sources of income out there. Now, what if we took the keg, made it ridiculously easy to craft, buffed it to make even more money than before, and slightly tweaked it so that it required a tiny bit more upkeep? I mean, that'd be a pretty good item. Oh, wait. The preserves jar. Yep, it's an item which exists. I don't really see them get talked about often within the community, so I'm just gonna assume one of two things. That I'm either living under the biggest rock on the planet, or that these little wooden cylinders really aren't getting the attention that they deserve. And for the sake of this video, I am definitely choosing the latter option. I personally love these little jars, so I'm talking about them. Go figure. Also, I'd just like to apologize because I am recording this video while I am sick, so if my voice sounds off, then that's most likely why. In this video, I'll be talking about exactly why I love these jars, its competition against kegs, its positives, how useful they are, and why I personally think you should start using them in your playthroughs if you aren't already. So with that being said, let's start off with a simple question. What is a preserves jar? The preserves jar is a placeable item unlocked at level 4 farming and can be crafted with 50 wood, 40 stone, and 8 coal. Its main purpose is turning things into other things. Vegetables and forages get turned into pickles, fruits get turned into jelly, and roe into aged roe. Wow. Except for sturgeon roe, because it's special. They convert items into their respective counterparts every 4,000 in-game minutes, or roughly 2 to 3 in-game days, depending on when you put the item in. When an item is turned, it gets double the base sell price with an extra 50 gold on top. So with that out of the way, I think it would be a good idea to talk about the differences as well as advantages it has to kegs. Kegs and jars are very similar. Both create artisan goods and take a few days to complete their tasks, with jars taking around 2 to 3 days and kegs taking around 6.25 days for their most profitable product, being jellies and wines respectively. The main difference between them is the time it takes between produce as well as the gold per day, where jars beat out kegs almost every single time. This is because kegs are designed to have much more value per fruit or vegetable, whereas jars are designed to be more crop hungry yet speedy, allowing you to create much more produce. Because of this clear difference between the two, it should be very obvious what jars are mainly used for. Kegs should almost exclusively be used for expensive, high-selling crops, whereas jars should be used for pretty much everything else. You'd be surprised how fantastic jars are with something that doesn't sell for much like a blueberry or a cranberry, where the absolutely nutty gold per day shows itself. With two of the best crops for each, starfruits and cranberries, we can see that the jars beat out the kegs easily, with jars producing about 50% more gold per day. But that's just the gold per day. Keep in mind, the jars themselves create jelly which has its own sell price. In Starfruit's case, the keg absolutely crushes it. It's always more worth it to put a starfruit in a keg, but you probably already knew that. Cranberries, on the other hand, it's not even worth it. I mean, the difference is so small that the extra 3 to 4 days it takes to make a single cranberry wine just straight up isn't worth it. You should use jars every single time, and the money adds up quickly too. with cranberry plants giving roughly 3 cranberries on average. I mean, doing the maths, it takes the jar roughly 7.5 days, with the 2 to 3 day difference being noted and included in the calculation, to finish converting the cranberries, whereas the keg takes 18.75. 18 days and then an extra afternoon. Oh my god. Look at that gold per day and tell me that it isn't abysmal. Reflect. Ah, of course, getting the actual crafting materials. I mean, with an item so good, it would be really crazy if you could, well, I don't know, buy all 3 of the materials needed to craft it. Wait, yep, you can buy them, and it is insane how cheap they are. 50 wood, 40 stone, and 8 coal. That is it! In year 1, it is prime time to buy materials for these amazing moneymakers, with one set of materials costing only 2,500 gold to buy, and in later years spiking up to 7,500 gold, which is a pretty hefty amount of money. This is exactly why I recommend making a few early investments in year 1 and turning any extra change you have into jars, cause they are stupid cheap and they are not getting any cheaper. And it's not like going out and trying to get the items needed yourself are difficult either. Coal and stone is something you'll most likely get an abundance of together, and wood is just, well, it's wood. You get an axe, chop down a tree. This thing is stupidly easy to make, and is exactly why I think you should be using it in your playthroughs. If you have the materials, it's pretty much free extra money, and if you have enough to buy the materials yourselves, then it's even more money. Jars are just incredibly useful, and they are at their strongest for 2 back-to-back seasons in year 1, with blueberries and cranberries being an amazing option to put into these things. So, well, yeah, I think I've rambled on about this money-making jar for long enough. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm really sorry I wasn't able to upload in a while. I ended up getting sick and it's been terrible so far. I wrote like half of the script while dying in bed on my phone, so forgive me if the quality's a little bit low. And I mean, it is a bite-sized essay, so I guess it makes sense. Meh. Anyways, thank you guys again. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. See ya!